Step into the vibe, oh yeah. Feel the rhythm rise high, we're living life. Let's fly, off tap life. Sky's the limit, no shy. Off tap life.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the weekend, because it is the weekend once again. The weekend is right here around the corner. Awesome. And we have another reaction request. So, ladies and gentlemen, this one is from Monroe. Monroe, how are you? Monroe is one of our family members, been part of the family for a very long time. Always good to hear from you, Monroe. Send you lots of love and hope that life is treating you right. Now, Monroe wants to hear the Struts, Stranger in Moscow, and oh my gosh, Stranger in Moscow. I've heard Stranger in Moscow, and we know, well, MJ made a song called Stranger in Moscow that is pretty dope. So, is this related? Let's find out. This is what Monroe had to say. As a huge fan of MJ, okay, yep, it's related. And this singer here, Luke, this made my day. Knowing you're an MJ fan too, I had to share. Well, thank you, Monroe, because yes, I am a fan, and I'm excited because, yeah, this is a dope song, man. This is one of probably the greatest songs ever written. So that being said, we're going to dive into this. Without further ado, from me, Monroe, and all of you, let's get off tap.
Wandering in the rain, masculine feeling in the same, swift and sudden fall from grace. Sunny days seem far away, cream and shadow belittling me. Silence tomb won't let me be. On and on and on it came. Wish the rain would just let me. How does it feel? How does it feel? How does it feel? How does it feel when you're alone and you're caught inside?
Okay, I'm feeling this vibe. I really like this. You know, one of the best ways to do a cover is when you make it your own. You have to make it your own, in fact, because as anyone who's been on the channel for a very long time has heard me say a million times, doing a cover, you're already working at a minus, because it's that whole thing where your brain hole, your ear hole, when you first hear a sound, when you first hear a song, it registers. That's how it's supposed to sound. When you first heard a dog or a cat or a cow, when they make the sounds they make, that's what your brain hole, your ear hole, they all connected together saying that's how that's supposed to sound, and it gets a tick mark. It's like, yep, that's correct. If it suddenly started sounding a dog like a cat like a cow, and everything just went nutso, it'd be like, what's going on? That ain't right. That's not how it's supposed to sound. This is the same with music. When you first hear a song, no matter how bad it is, for example, Britney Spears singing a version of her song, if that's the first time you heard it, that's how it's supposed to sound. And anything else, no matter who sings it, will never just quite sound right. Even if they're better than Britney, it's just not the thing, you know what I mean? So the way you combat that is you have to make it your own. You have to be able to do something to still keep it true to the original, but yet taking it outside the box and doing something to give it its own uniqueness, its own spin. So therefore, when your ear hole and your brain hole hears it, it goes, you know what? Yeah, that's acceptable. I can go with that. That's a vibe. That's a little bit not like the vibe, but it is the vibe, but it's a different vibe. So it's registering it as its own little amazing little piece of magic. You know, I like it. That's what your brain hole, and I'm liking this. So let's let them keep cooking. Let's go.
Here I'm binding in my face. I'm getting off the bread. KGB was dogging me. Take my name or just let me be. Then a bag of boy call my name. Happy days will drown the pain. On and on and on again. Wish the rain would just let me.
there's this thing, that's very flattering. Sometimes with even though I do always say, that it's great to be unique. It's great to, put your own spin on things, have your own flavor and all. Even though I say all that, flattery is one of the hugest compliments. Sorry, how's that saying go? Basically, a short of it is, I forgot exactly how it goes, but when you copy someone, when you're mimicking someone, that is the highest form of flattery that you can give someone, right? It's a huge compliment, right? If someone hears you or sees you and they start attempting to dress like you or sound like you, when they're singing or whatever, because you've been a huge positive influence in their life. I mean, to a certain extent, it can be flattering. I mean, if you go too far and you start walking around one hand, like white glove thing and, really short pants and you're walking around and you're taking it to, there has to be a balance. But what I'm saying is, though, there is a certain coolness, when you have done something like on the scale that MJ has, and it's left people, the worldwide, wanting to mimic that energy, that sound, that flavor, that style, that little special something, it's pretty cool, isn't it? It's pretty cool. I think it's, but I can't even speak today. It plays a huge compliment to the icon and the amazing person that MJ was, so and shout out to these guys for paying homage to obviously someone who touched them and inspired them to want to be able to create this song, which I'm enjoying. It's pleasing to my ear holes, and vocally, and the musicians are great, right? The whole rendition that they're doing, fantastic. Let's let them finish cooking, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. Let's go. Imitation is the highest form of flattery. Just remembered it. Imitation. That was the word I was looking for. Imitation. All right, now we can continue. I just wanted to say before I forgot. Imitation.
Like stranger Moscow, Lord have mercy. Like stranger Moscow, Lord have mercy. We're talking danger. We're talking danger, baby. Stranger in Moscow. We're talking danger.
sensational.
Imitation. That word came to me. And I want to talk about it for a second, because you see, when you have the desire inside to imitate greatness, some may say that that's like taking the blueprint of success and taking it and saying, it worked for this person, why wouldn't I want to do that, right? The flip side of that is we all sometimes maybe have this imitation syndrome where we don't even realize that we're imitating greatness or imitating whatever the case may be. It could even just be a mannerism, a way that someone has about speaking or telling jokes or laughing, or the way someone, maybe they have a cool little walk and you find yourself suddenly walking the same way, or, maybe certain dance moves, maybe it's certain things like, you just don't even realize you're doing. And someday, once, like in a million shot, like you're just randomly doing this thing, and that person or someone really close to that person notices and they go, hey, isn't that how so-and-so does that? Or isn't that what they do? Or whatever. And if you're someone who's not even realized it, you're like, what? Oh my gosh, I didn't realize I started doing that, because it just kind of caught on, right? Here's the thing with great songwriters, great singers, great songs, great music. It has that ability to suddenly see us, in the shower, in the car, somewhere, just random, just suddenly imitating their greatness, imitating their mannerisms, the way they sing, the way they did this, the way they did that. And these guys here, even in this song, even though they did a great job of really attempting to just create something that was respectful to the original, but they still gave it some of their own pizzazz and energy. I did catch a couple of those MJ breaths in there from him. Also, a couple times when he was singing, he actually sounded very similar to MJ. Tonality was there, the mannerism, the vibe, the energy was there. And, there's something to be said about that, because, even though, again, I personally believe that, it's important to just be able to make things your own, to be able to be true to yourself, to bring that authentic flavor, and to be able to stand on your own two legs musically, without it being this clone festival of you like attempting to sing, perform another song exactly how it was originally created. And here's the kicker, right? I mean, look, if we wanted to hear MJ Stranger in Moscow, we would listen to MJ Stranger in Moscow, sung by MJ Stranger in Moscow, doing MJ Stranger in Moscow things, because he's the one who made the song. He's not the imitated. He is the creator of the imitation that everyone is so sought after achieving and doing. So we do that. So when we hear a song like this and it's sung by another artist, we're hoping that respectfully, especially when it's an artist that's passed away, that they can bring us a little bit closer to that original experience, that flavor, pay homage to someone that we all really just appreciated and enjoyed, their music, that we just was captivated. MJ's music has managed to transcend generations now. There's people who are 8, 9, 10, years old, 18, just a whole nother generation of people being introduced to MJ's music. Everywhere you go, you still hear MJ's music being played in supermarkets, all over the place. I hear MJ's music everywhere. It's crazy, man. And that's a testimony again to how great his music was. So seeing these guys here come out and imitate, but also, be able to create something uniquely theirs while still being able to be true to the original without being exactly a clone of the original. I have to say, I really respect that. I appreciate that. It is excellent. You know what I mean? Like it's, you know, and it has a lot to do with all the parts in this performance because, you know, the singer himself, now he, you know, brought a little something here and there. He did, again, have his moments where it was very MJ-ish, but the sum of all the parts, if you will, the band themselves, I mean, the music, I mean, just their little arrangement of this, their rearrangement, there's this, the way they've decided to execute this and the timing and how they actually delivered it, everything, you know, you could tell that they were still kind of doing their thing while still doing the song, if you will, you know what I mean? And I respect that. It's good. I mean, listen to this guy's vocals, by the way. Can we take a moment to appreciate this guy's vocal ability? Vocally, this guy, silky smooth voice. I would be interested to see what other stuff these guys had to offer because, I mean, vocally, this guy is really good. Now, how does he sound singing one of his own originals? That's the question. Whenever I hear someone doing someone else's cover, you know, someone else's song, that's the first question I'm thinking is, okay, if they sounded that awesome doing someone else's song, because let me tell you, as an artist myself, let me tell you, it is really hard to take someone else's song that you did not write, that you did not, you know, have the emotional connection with, that, you know, you're now having to interpret that your own way and give it the due diligence that it deserves. It's hard to sing someone else's story, you know. It's easier when it's your story because there's a connection, there's a realness, there's a way for you to absolutely, you know, just tapping in to the energy of what's being said and sung and the emotion of it all because it resonates with you because it is you. It's a part of you. It's your story, right? So it's hard doing that with someone else unless you're fortunate enough where it's one of those type of, you know, songs where there is something that resonates and you go, oh my gosh, you have experienced that, or I feel that way a lot. I often find myself feeling like a stranger in Moscow, wandering in the rain, you know. So this is one of those things. So to, you know, show these guys again mad respect and give them the props and the flowers they deserve. They've done that. They've been able to take something else and to give it the love and the you know, connection, the energetic necessity needed to allow us to believe in the storytelling, right? Because again, this is the thing, you know, when you've got a story, believability factor is important, and if there's no connection to said song because you didn't write it, it's harder for us to buy into you telling the story, right? Whereas the person who actually experienced the story, when they tell it, you go, yeah, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that. Because there's a whole level of passion and a whole level of truth telling and a whole level of feels, deep feels. And us songwriters, us musicians, us singers, us performers, us entertainers, we tap into a deep place. And it's how we deliver our best performances and our best material and all that kind of stuff. So I would love to hear their own song. Right, this is where I'm at now with them. This is where we're at because they were good with someone else's story. I want to see how they do with their story, and that's got me interested, very interested to see. So we're going to have to probably revisit these guys at some stage because I'd be interested to see their story. I really want to hear one of their own originals. The band, very good musicians. You know, these musicians, you can tell they're seasoned. And they understood the mission. They had one job and they freaking knocked it out the ballpark. The sum of all the parts, as I said, though, you know, you've got these great musicians, you got this great vocalist, and you've got obviously an ensemble of, you know, like-minded individuals who were able to come together and to allow themselves to be immersed into this story and this experience and bring it to life, give it legs from their own, you know, in their own way. Do you know what I mean? And that's cool. I love it. So this right here, fantastic. I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed it from the start all the way to the finish. again, it's hard to impress me when it comes to doing someone's cover because Brain Hole and Ear Hole has decided no, doesn't sound like a cow. So I really enjoyed this. What a fantastic version of Stranger in Moscow. Thank you very much, Monroe, for this reaction request. And ladies and gentlemen, you too can share a fantastic reaction request with all of us. The link is in the description. And I would love to hear the playlist of your life. Please share with the class. Don't be selfish. Don't be one of those people. Because I love when you guys share what you guys are cooking. And speaking of cooking, I'm hungry. I need something to eat. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and end this because I think I've got some freaking little cake or something waiting for me. I'm just saying. Chocolate. Yeah. Tastes good. So anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. I love and appreciate all of you. Hit that like, subscribe button on the way out. Thank you to all of our OGs, members who've been years here. Thank you to all the new kids on the block, all the new people who've just rolled up. Thank you all, everyone in between, everyone. I appreciate, I love you. And we're back in the flow of things. So you make sure you lock and load it because you don't want to miss out on what's next. So that being said, as always, remember to promote the fullest. Keep it off tap. Off tap. Out.
We gotta get out of here! I'll catch you guys later for another vlog!